Isaiah 16 acts as a precise geopolitical ultimatum. As the nation of Moab faces total destruction, this text outlines a specific diplomatic off-ramp: submit to vassalage or face annihilation. The demand is stated in the opening verse: "Send ye the lamb to the ruler of the land, from Selah to the wilderness, unto the mount of the daughter of Zion." This terrain in the Rock District of Edom defines the challenge. The prophet directs Moab to drive massive herds of sheep through this landscape, bypassing the standard northern routes to head south toward Zion. This request seeks to reinstate a broken treaty. Historically, Moabite King Mesha had covenanted to pay an annual tribute of 100,000 lambs to the king of Israel. When Israel weakened, Moab revolted and severed the payments. The Mesha stele provides the physical record of this conflict. The inscriptions carved into this black basalt slab recount the exact revolt where Moab threw off Israelite rule. Isaiah advises Moab to renew this massive economic tribute, but he redirects it. He tells them to bypass the collapsing northern kingdom of Israel and send the wealth directly to the house of David in Judah. Verse 1 presents a calculated diplomatic offer. Judah is telling Moab to pay the economic debt of vassalage now to buy political protection from the regional collapse sweeping through the Levant. The text outlines the consequence of ignoring the deal in verse 2, describing the daughters of Moab as a wandering bird cast out of the nest, a reference to a desperate, displaced population. The canyon of the Arnon River forms the northern border of Moab. This restrictive choke point is where Moabite refugees are trapped while fleeing. Verses 3 and 4 outline the requirements for survival. Judah commands Moab to take counsel, execute judgment, and to hide the outcasts. This is a strategy of mutual refuge. Judah asks Moab to shelter Judean refugees today, establishing a precedent of mercy so that Judah will reciprocate when the violence crosses into Moabite territory. The violence driving this pact is the Assyrian military machine. The text identifies the superpower as the spoiler and the extortioner, an empire consuming the nations in its path. This ancient stone relief captures the scale of the threat. These heavily armed Assyrian soldiers and chariots represent the apex of siege warfare, capable of mechanically dismantling entire nations. Judah's offer of protection was supported by its recent military history. In 701 BC, the Assyrian campaign against Jerusalem met a catastrophic end outside the city gates, forcing the survivors to flee the land. Aligning with Judah represented a calculated survival strategy against a superpower bent on total regional consumption. Beyond pure military strategy, Judah holds a unique piece of diplomatic leverage. The two nations share an ancestral bloodline. Verse 5 promises that "In mercy shall the throne be established, and he shall sit upon it in truth in the tabernacle of David." The connection traces back to Genesis. Following the destruction of Sodom, Abraham's nephew Lot escaped to the mountains. From his eldest daughter came a son named Moab, the patriarch of the Moabite nation. The lineage shows a direct connection from Lot to the creation of the Moabite people. The lines cross again generations later, when Ruth, a Moabite woman, marries Boaz of Judah. Their grandson would be King David. The current ruler sitting on David's throne is King Hezekiah. He is a just king who reopened the temple in Jerusalem, serving as the immediate fulfillment of a throne established in mercy. Isaiah's geopolitical proposal relies on Moab recognizing this lineage. They are dealing with estranged family members, bound by historic obligation to show each other mercy. But Moab ultimately rejects the diplomatic deal. Verse 6 identifies the cause. "We have heard of the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his haughtiness and his pride and his wrath." Rather than submit to their Judean kin, Moab relies on its own regional fortifications and domestic counsel, ignoring the severity of the Assyrian advance. The consequence of this rejection is found in verse 7. "Therefore shall Moab howl for Moab, for the foundations of Kir-Hareseth shall ye mourn, surely they are stricken." These stong ruins at Kir-Hareseth are located deep in the southern heartland of Moab. This city was the crown jewel of their defense network. Its destruction meant the Assyrian military successfully breached their borders and advanced through their entire territory. Moab's diplomatic hubris alienated the one ally offering them shelter, ensuring they would face the incoming slaughter alone. The text then shifts from a broad prophetic warning to a roadmap of the ensuing invasion. Verses 8 and 9 list specific regional targets: Heshbon, Sibmah, Jazer, and Elealeh, where the fields languish and the plants are broken down. These cities form a geographical line tracing north from the southern fortress of Kir Haresh to Heshbon, tracking the exact path of the invading army. The invaders target the vineyards and the summer fruits. This tactic is designed to dismantle Moab's primary agricultural and economic engines. Verses 10 and 11 describe a cessation of joy. There is no singing in the vineyards, and Isaiah expresses deep emotional lamentation for a tragedy that was avoidable. A wealthy, self-sufficient nation loses its lifeblood in a matter of days. As armies march through, the soil is trampled and the harvest ruined. The Assyrian strategy focused on total economic starvation, ensuring the permanent collapse of the Moabite state. In verses 12 and 13, the population retreats to their high places and sanctuaries to pray for deliverance, but those high places fail them. Their national deities offered no defense against the physical reality of a military superpower dismantling their cities. Verse 14 delivers a strict deadline for this destruction. The text specifies the ruin will happen within 3 years, as the years of a hireling. A hireling's contract is legally binding and exact. It cannot be extended. This timeline was fulfilled when the Assyrian king Shalmaneser attacked the region, plundering the Moabite cities exactly as measured. The vast multitude of people described at the beginning of the text is reduced to a remnant that the prophet calls very small and feeble. This barren expanse overlooking the Dead Sea is the physical result of that ancient destruction. The geography, economics, and diplomacy of Isaiah 16 map a precise path to national collapse. By refusing the lamb tribute and turning their backs on their own kin, Moab effectively signed its own 3-year contract of ruin.